All right, let's get right into it. When I say the word ropeway, what do you picture? Probably a ski lift, right? Or maybe a scenic cable car ride. And you're not wrong, but that is just scratching the surface. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a hidden world of pretty extreme engineering, a world where these systems are absolutely critical to heavy industry, massive construction projects, and believe it or not, even national security.
So that brings us to this question. It kind of sounds like the start of a bad joke, doesn't it? What could a simple ski lift possibly have in common with national security? Well, the answer reveals this incredible story of innovation and pure necessity in some of the most challenging places on the entire planet. So stick with me, because that connection is way more direct than you might think.
So, to answer that riddle, we first got to look beyond the ski slopes. We need to expand our whole idea of what a ropeway is and what it can really do. Because you'll see, it's so much more than just a ride. Now, at the heart of this whole story is a company called M&M Ropeways. And you have to understand, their mission isn't just about building transport. It's about creating these mobility systems that work flawlessly in places where literally nothing else can. We're talking from crowded cities all the way to the highest mountain peaks. This slide really shows you the two sides of the coin here, the split personality of these systems. On one side, you've got all the stuff we're familiar with: tourism, city transit, maybe even an amusement park ride. But on the other side of that same cable, you've got something way more critical: strategic transport, and by that, I mean military logistics and some very high-stakes operations. And this quote just nails it. For their main client, the Indian Army, a ropeway isn't some nice-to-have luxury. No, it's a lifeline. This is where serious reliability isn't just a marketing term, it's everything. Because performance becomes a matter of strategic importance, not just simple convenience. But these systems move more than just people. In a lot of cases, they're literally moving mountains of material. This is where we meet the true industrial workhorses of the ropeway world. So, what's with this number? Well, get this. A material ropeway system from M&M can move a volume of material that's equivalent to hundreds of dump trucks every single hour. Just try to imagine the logistical power of that, especially when you need to cross a huge ravine or go up a steep mountain where there's no road. And they put that incredible power to work in some of the most demanding industries you can think of. We're talking about everything from remote mining operations to these beautiful tea estates way up in the mountains, and even vital rural development projects. But they're also a key player in building the future, supporting these huge national projects like tunnel building and the construction of dams and hydropower plants. So the question is, how do they do it? How do they pull this off project after project in these ridiculously difficult conditions? What's their blueprint for success? Well, let's break it down. It really comes down to four key pillars. First, you've got just sheer experience. We're talking over 35 years and more than 120 successful projects. That's a lot of learning. Next is their total mastery of extreme environments. Then you've got a non-negotiable commitment to world-class standards. And finally, they have complete end-to-end control over the whole process, from the very first sketch to the final bolt being tightened. And when I say mastery of extremes, these numbers really put it into perspective. Their systems are built to work at altitudes as high as 18,000 feet and in temperatures that drop down to a bone-chilling minus 35 degrees Celsius. Think about that. That just demands an insane level of precision engineering. And their quality? It isn't just some internal goal they set for themselves. Nope, they follow strict OITAF and BIS guidelines. That's the International Organization for Transportation by Rope and the Bureau of Indian Standards. OITAF is known all over the world as the international gold standard for ropeway safety. So this ensures that every single project meets the highest possible level of safety and reliability, period. Okay, so we know these things are tough, they're super reliable, but why would a client choose a ropeway instead of, the old-fashioned way, like using a bunch of trucks? Let's look at the direct advantages. This table just lays it all out so clearly. Let's start with safety. An automated, custom-built ropeway is just way safer than having trucks navigate dangerous, high-risk terrain. Environmentally, it's not even a contest. You replace a whole fleet of trucks and your carbon footprint gets significantly smaller. And for logistics, you get this smooth, continuous flow of materials instead of a complicated system that's always at risk for weather delays and accidents. M&M also brings a really smart financial angle to the table. Instead of demanding a huge upfront payment, they offer leasing and investment options. And what that does is it frees up a client's money so they can use it on other essential parts of their project. It makes this incredible technology way more accessible. But the impact here, it goes way beyond just individual projects. When you kind of zoom out and look at the big picture, you start to see that this technology is actually serving as a vital link for an entire nation.
This quote, this one really gets to the heart of why they're so important. Their true value, their real worth, is defined by this unique ability to operate where literally nothing else can.
And this brings us right back to that first question. How does the ski lift connect to national security? Well, the answer is right here. By building these systems in super remote, high-altitude regions, M&M Ropeways provides year-round access and essential supply lines to border areas, places where roads are often only open for part of the year or are just flat-out impossible to build. They are a critical piece of strategic infrastructure, ensuring connection for both national development and security.
So, what's the big takeaway? It's that behind something as simple as a cable car, there's this whole world of engineering that keeps our industries moving and helps secure national interests. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other invisible infrastructure, hiding right there in plain sight, is absolutely essential to the way our world works?